Feels like Test match rugby is back, folks, with the Boks taking on the Barbars this weekend. It is a Boks side, obviously without any of their Bulls players who are up in Dublin getting ready to take on Leinster in the URC final, but it is a Boks side taking on a pretty star-studded Barbars team. Let's go through the lineups, some of the predictions, and I don't really have any stats for this one because there's not really like an ongoing record when there's Barbars up against the Boks. The Barbars are always going to be a different team. Last time they played, it was an absolute walloping, 54-7. Like, Barbars matches are sometimes fun and lighthearted, and the Boks, I remember, went into that one saying, we're treating this like a test, and they played it like a test. They absolutely thumped them, squeezed the life out of the Barbars. It might be a little bit different this time, because there's like a bunch of uncapped players in this Springboks team, and a few guys who are either a bit out of position or maybe just a little bit unfamiliar. For the Boks, like Oxton Che, Andre Hugo Fenta, and Carlu Sadi, the guy I'm happiest here for is Carlu Sadi. Like that big unit of a man who's been plying his trade in South Africa for a number of years. Now he's over in Bordeaux, just won a Champions Cup with those lads. It's great to see him get a crack. He's like 29, I guess, and like in the Springboks, you got to pay your dues before you can get your time at the top of the pecking order. It takes a while. Props maybe age a bit like fine wine, right? They don't come to the peak of their powers until their late 20s, early 30s, or even beyond. So I'm just happy for him. He's in the green and gold, and we'll see how he goes up against the Barbars pack. And then Riley Norton, way at the other end of the experience scale, under 20s captain. He's already a pretty big dude for, 20 years old? Yeah, straight into the deep end for him. Arguably, you could have put Norton on the bench and maybe given someone else a bit more game time from the start. Like Ben Jason Dixon's on the bench. You could have started him and brought in Norton from the bench. But I mean, who am I to question Russie's selections? And Franco Mostert, an experienced hand to be alongside him and walk him through the experience of what it's like to run out in the full green and gold of South Africa. Even if it's not a capped match, it's still going to be a step up from under 20s. An experienced looking back row, though, with Kolisi, Peter Steff, and Jasper Wiese all there. Peter Steff has not played any rugby for a long time. Remember, he got injured early on in the Japanese season. I don't think he's played this year at all, so it's a good chance for him to get up to some speed. I don't think Sia has played in a month or so. I don't think Jasper's played since the end of May, so these guys could use some minutes ahead of further game time. And then the back line, Grant Williams at 9 is not that surprising, but Kewan Horn at 10 certainly caught me by surprise. I've seen him play various positions in the back line for the Lions, but I don't think I've ever seen Kewan Horn with a number 10 on his back. I mean, he's played fullback, so a lot of guys have made that transition in their careers from 15 to 10, and Russie did talk about the fact that, Handre's with the Bulls. You never know if he's going to get injured, and Sasha is injured at the moment, so they don't want to risk Mani, I guess, in this game. So why not build a bit of extra depth and give Kewan Horn a crack at 10? So pressure on him a little bit, right, to run that back line. But yeah, it is the Barbars, so less pressure than if it was a fully kind of test-capped match. Andre Esterhuizen and Jesse Creel, the midfield is experienced. Likewise, the wings with Colby and Van der Merwe. I think Colby's going to be the guy doing the kicking at goal because he's been doing that all season for his team in Japan, and we'll see him do it for other teams as well. And then Fussy is there at fullback. On the bench, there's more uncapped guys with JJ Kotze there. From the Stormers, Mkunu and Porthen will add to their Springbok steps fairly early on in their Springboks careers. Are those two props. Ben Jason Dixon, like I mentioned. Paul de Villiers, his first time to run out. Another Stormers man, so there's a bit of a Stormers connection with this team. I guess unsurprising, seeing as they're not in the URC since they got eliminated in the semis, but had a good enough season for some guys to stand out. Be looking to see him get over the ball if he comes on relatively early, maybe for Sia. We'll see. Evan Roos is there, just the two backs. Faf is back. And then at the other end of the experience scale, another under-20s guy, Vusi Moyo, I think has just had one game for the Sharks against Zebre. So it's a real mix. Guys out of position, veterans who haven't played for maybe 6 months or more, guys coming off a pretty good URC campaign who've stood up, uncapped guys, under-20s guys. It is a real mixture from Russie with the Springboks lineup. I mean, it's a great chance to get these guys in, to have a look at them, and just that slight little bit of extra pressure. Like, there's no Rugby World Rankings points. There's no like trophy that you're going to be putting a step back for if you lose here. This is a one-off kind of friendly, if you want to call it that. Although the expectations and the performance expectations will still be sky high if you're with the Springboks, but there is that kind of bit of extra pressure off in that regard. Now for the Barbars, they are stock full of international talent. Vivas, D, and Darcy Ray. These are all international guys for Argentina, for Wales, and for Scotland. Darcy actually scrummaged. Was it him that... I think he scrummaged pretty well against the All Blacks last year. I was expecting the All Blacks scrum to really boss the Scots around, but nope. And Darcy was a big part of that. Molina and Moon. Moon's a bit of tall timber, English tall timber playing over in France. He might give the Box guys a bit of a run for their money in terms of just pure height. And Molina's had a really good season over in Super Rugby with the Force. Guido Petty's another bit of tall timber in the loose for this one. Boshier, he's a Kiwi. He'll be good at getting over the ball. And then Miracle Failangi, Samoan connection. His team has just gone bust in Moana Pacifica over here in Super Rugby, but he is one of the guys who had to stand up. He was captaining that side, so he's had a pretty good year. TJ Perenara, he captains the side, the All Blacks, former halfback. So look for him to make some snipes, and he's alongside Thomas Albanoz, who is an excitement machine. South Africa fans, you would have seen him playing for Argentina in the Rugby Championship. Nankivell and Vakatawa is a good midfield. Vakatawa's had a cracking season over here in Super Rugby as well for the Fijian and Drua. And Nankivell, for months, that was one of their standout players, as many fans would have seen him in the URC. Duhan back in South Africa on the left wing. Andrew Callaway, as he's departing Aussie Rugby, on the right. And then Warwick Halant. See if he does any better against the Springboks than he has done for them. Replacements Oviedo, Kebbel, and Delgado. So again, a bit more of an Argentinian connection there. Isaac Rodder. Liam McConnell is one to look out for. He has been just recently capped by the Scots, I think last year. Really dynamic around the park. Arata, the Uruguayan, he is very nippy. Harry Plummer has been having a really good year over in France. And Samu Vodre, likewise for the Drua, having a good year in the midfield. Who are the favourites? Well, it's obviously the Springboks, but by how much? The bookies have got them by around about 15 points. Yeah, given that it was 54-7 last time, but this is a much different looking Boks team in terms of the experience, the partnerships, the cohesion, the chemistry, first game of the season. Yeah, maybe it's a bit too much to expect a 40-plus point drubbing, but I think you'd be doing well in Port Elizabeth or Caberca. I can't really pronounce that new name. Original name, the renamed name, you know what I mean. To get within 15 points, I think the Barbars will be doing pretty well. But Razor's the coach, so Razor and Rusty up against it once again. Morne Ferreira is the referee, so fingers crossed he has a good game. Special one for him to be refereeing the Boks for sure, because you don't get to do that at test level. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts. What do you reckon's a good margin for this game? Do you think 15's too tight, or do you think with the Boks changes and inexperience in some positions that it is fair? You guys take care, and I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.